Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of E&Ftv. Today, we're joined by the brilliant Daphne Beers, who is the owner of Your Queue. Daphne, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
It's great to have you on the show. Obviously, after a number of conversations that you and I have had, I've been really excited about this one, to be honest, because we're definitely on the same page on a lot of subjects. So it's great to get you on the show. So I suppose I would like to start the show really is to understand a bit about the guest, a bit about you, your background, I suppose what brought you to obviously starting Your Queue as well, and what Your Queue actually offers. So please do, I suppose, take it away and tell us about yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Daphne Beers. I'm from Holland. I've been working in the hotel industry for about 20 years now. Started off working in bars, restaurants, and doing those kind of things. Afterwards, I went to the hotel school, and from there on, I started my career in for hotels. Started out in reception, front desk management, rooms division management, then moved along to the back office, reservations, revenue, a little bit of in-house sales, meeting and events. So yeah, I've seen a lot in hotels, and where I have been within IHG, for example, I've worked with 10 years for them, and we did a lot of cool stuff there. Also with system implementations, we did pilots for the new CRS systems, for revenue management systems. So my background is quite broad, so to say. And after 15 years working in hotels and for hotels, I thought it was time to that the knowledge and everything that I gained, that it could be beneficial to a lot more hotels as well. So that's when I decided to start my own company. Started out as a consultant, doing mainly projects to improve the results or implement systems, and as well change management within teams. So getting the processes right, getting the whole back office aligned with the systems, and making sure that they support the business results and the business goals, so to say. And that is where my passion lies, is to combine the two. So to really make them connected. So the people and the results, and how you bring it together to put that in the picture. So we will talk about that in the next few questions. After 1.5 years, or it was when I started my first assignment as a consultant, that the managing director of that company asked me, that consultancy, like trading your hours, your time for money, it's nice, but what are you going to bring to the hospitality? And that question, planted the seed in my head. Like, I'm having a few thoughts on it, but first I want to see what is going on in other companies, because I was working for a big chain, but could imagine that there were different things going on in different types of companies. And that's how it all started, that I was really seeing, making the connection between result-driven and task-driven roles, and how you could shift that is where the motivation comes with people, and with motivation of your staff, you increase guest satisfaction, business results, and so forth. So it will be, you have the snowball effect, so to say. And that's where I started Your Queue Academy, where I create online training modules as a basis for employees, trainees, supervisors to train and to really understand not only what they are doing, but why they are doing it. And that's something that I see is the key in a lot of issues that are going around in hotels. So And to make that scalable, I've put that online so that it's consistent, so that the information that the team gets is all the same. So everybody gets the same information and not in 20 various types of stories, type of communication, skill set, so to say. So that's how it all started.
Fantastic. And I know, obviously, from talking to you, it's something that you're hugely passionate about, is the continued development of the employees, also obviously the management staff as well within businesses. And I suppose the relationships between employees, management, the company itself, it's all sort of rolled into one. And I suppose the first question that I wanted to come on to is, I suppose, what's the difference between task-driven and results-driven jobs, and sort of the management within that as well?
Yeah. From what I've seen in a lot of organizations and a lot of hotels, and it's not only in hotels, but this is something that I see happening in a lot of companies. Right. Is the owner group and the higher level of management, they know exactly what their goals are, what their KPIs are, what is it that they want to reach, and what their vision is, and what their purpose is for that company. Yeah. The management level below knows what their goals are, or what part of the bigger goal is their responsibility, so to say. Yeah. And there is already a little bit of a shift from really result-driven towards task-driven, because they have to do a certain task. Managers need to perform according to certain task lists and KPIs and responsibilities. And then you will have the people on the floor in the operational department who are executing those plans, but most of the time are being given tasks.
Right.
What I see in that way of working and that shift is that the task-driven roles, so to say, are most of the time, from what I've seen, are individual. So it's me. I need to do that task. So it's not team-driven, which is not per se bad thing, but when you have a team, when you have the same result and you do it together, you can grow much quicker than doing things individually. With that, everybody has his own agenda. So you will get, in companies, you will get conflicts of interest often. It is task-driven jobs are most of the time led by the number of mistakes. We are managing on the number of mistakes. So we're not looking for, okay, what did we do right today? Oh no, I didn't put the check mark on the last task that I needed to perform. So my day was not good. So my contribution is not well. So it's really a limited or bound, how do you say it? A constrained way of working. You're creating a culture of negativity.
Sure.
And also demotivation, because if I have the task to clear the inboxes as a reservations agent, but I have no clue why I'm doing it and what my contribution is to the results, I can do it for maybe 5-6 months, because we have different types of emails. So I learn a little bit, but after 5-6 months, I'm saying, okay, I'm done. I can manage an inbox, but this is it. I'm going to move away from this job or this company, or sometimes even this industry.
Sure.
What for me, that demotivation or that lack of understanding what their contribution is and what their passion is and their motivation is towards the results, that is for me where you can win a lot. I think we can win a world there. And when you create the why, with also in those task-driven roles, and you give them the empowerment to be part of the results and to be part of the goal, then you will get a total different energy in the organization. They will be much more positive. It will be much more success driven and solution driven, rather than, okay, where is the mistake and who can I blame for it? So that is for me the big difference between task and result driven jobs / management, because you can manage also out of task, and that you see often with junior managers or managers that are just starting their role, that they are really trying to control the tasks. Rather than giving a little bit of leeway for the team to really thrive for themselves and go for their best.
Yes. I suppose, have you seen in the hospitality industry, that jobs have generally been task driven, and now they're moving more into result driven jobs because of obviously this more collaborative approach with regards to, stopping the silos and bringing people together, all this sort of stuff? It all sort of points towards a results driven operation, if you like. But are we still sitting within a task driven market, do we think, or are we moving away from that?
From what I see, technology is helping, because a lot of tasks are being automated. So there is more room to be guest driven, result driven, and move towards the KPIs. But when I come into to organizations to help them, whatever the assignment is back there, I always start with those entry-level jobs, the operational staff, to include them in the conversations. And I just ask the question, what is the goal for this company? Do you know what the goal is for this year? And 99% cannot give me an answer.
No.
If it's a wrong answer, they just don't know. And if I ask them what their job is and what their contribution is to the company,
no.
It's sometimes
they just don't. Yeah.
They don't know, and maybe also that they are not asking the question because they are themselves junior, or they don't see that will be helpful if they know their why. But it's also because the hospitalities. Yeah, I think 70% of everybody working in hospitality is below 25. So it also comes a little bit with the age, of course, but not necessarily something that we cannot put emphasis on, so to say.
Yeah.
Emphasis on. I see that there are shifting, and then they will get KPIs on, for example, guest satisfaction or enrollments in loyalty programs and those kind of things. But still, for me, that is task driven.
Yeah. It's one of these things where it's interesting, because once we start talking about hotels, they have to understand their guests, they have to understand their clients, or whatever that may be, to obviously build a successful business, get that return business, so on and so forth. We all know that. But I suppose from an employee point of view, it works in a very similar way. Management, business owners, whatever it might be, they need to understand their employees, what drives them, what keeps them passionate, whether it's new projects, whether it's new ways of working, whether it's new system implementation, whatever it might be. It's all about engaging with your employees, right, within their professional continued development. And I suppose that brings me actually quite nicely onto the next question, which is all around how do we build strong, long-lasting connections with our employees? How do we keep them within the business? How do we cultivate this culture of sort of growing people from within in that professional development and so on? And I suppose to sort of build on that as well, almost sort of coming in it from the sort of very beginning, how do we cultivate that talent coming in? How do we drive the talent coming into the industry?
Yeah, I think let's start with how to keep them. That's for me the easiest one. How to get them is a different thing. How I see it that we can really capture talent is to really be more focused on what's in it for them. So So we need to be better advocates, at least in my opinion, in also giving back, and start with giving, and rather than okay, first you need to perform, and then we are going to look if you can get a training, if we can develop you, or so it needs to be in that sense starting with employees and starting with employee journeys. We are the kings and queens of taking care of our guests. We have figured that one out already. That's our business. So for me, it would make sense if you have that figured out already and make sure that your team is able to take care of that part. Then leaders should be focusing much more on our employees. Yeah. And I don't say that we necessarily have to throw millions into developing a leadership and that it costs money, but it starts with effort. It starts really with taking the time for your team, showing them what your passion is, what your drive is, and giving them that example really is helpful for them to see, like, oh, okay, that's something I want to work towards, or I want to contribute to, and that clears the path for them a little bit. That's one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's massively important with obviously the people that I'm placing anyway. Let's put it like this: from obviously my perspective, from an employment point of view, or from a recruitment perspective anyway. When I'm recruiting, for example, graduates into the industry, so getting graduates from their universities, the most experience they've had is either working in front of house or maybe doing sort of internships where they're getting tasters or exposure to different areas of the business. But that's it, that's where it ends. And we've got to find these clients, and there's some great ones out there that are taking graduates with no experience and giving them that opportunity. But not only sort of saying, well, here's a junior level job, they're also saying, but over the next 12 months, we're going to explore this. You're going to get exposure to this. If you attain this, then you will receive this. There's almost sort of a participation and reward scenario there, where if you achieve a certain element of your role, then you will gain this. And then it's all this sort of stuff where if you achieve all this within 12 months, you'll then receive a promotion to this next step of your career, which I think is massively important. It's all well and good providing the initial opportunity, but it's what happens after that. How do we keep our people? Because, if we like it or not, Daphne, I'm sure you sort of agree with this, but we do have a culture these days where if you want to progress, it's far easier to change jobs than it is to stay where you are, whether that be salary increase, whether that be responsibility increase, whether that be exposure to different areas of the business. You're always, at the moment, unfortunately, better off moving jobs rather than staying put. And I think the onus is actually on the employer to say, what do we need to do differently to keep our people? Because it's not all about money. That's the other thing. It's not all about money. It's about what they're getting. Are they achieving what they want to achieve? And I suppose, what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with that a career path especially for young talent is important. What I want to add to that is also make sure that they are in that driver's seat.
Yes.
I can give them a path, and I can say, okay, if you do this in 12 months, you will be getting that level job, or you will get the salary increase X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. All well and good. But if it's not something that they want to achieve, if they do not make the choice to go for that job, then it will never work.
Yeah.
So the development path, they need to make themselves. And what we need to do there is to guide them and show them what the possibilities are.
Yes.
On the other hand, we should also manage their expectations. So if we have 10 trainees in reception, for example, and they all want to be the front office manager, how are you going to manage that? You only have one role available, and that's probably there's somebody there already. So you need to first get rid of somebody in that seat to enable to make it available.
Yeah.
So if I look at the bigger picture, it is one, yes, for sure, capturing those talents within your organization where you can, but also guide them and lead them. And sometimes change is not a bad thing. I learned much more going to a different organization than staying for 10 years in a role or in an organization that I knew about. So we also don't need to be too restrict in keeping us for ourselves. Our aim should be is to keep the talent within the hospitality and grow your network. Make sure that if you have a good talent that you cannot keep, make sure that he is at the right place with the neighbors. Because that will build that long-lasting relationship. If you invest that, in 10 years, he might be your best manager or leader in your company again.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit two ways. Yes, I totally agree. Is we need to give them a path, but also need to make the decisions what's best for them. Let them make the decision what's best for them and help them. I had a lot of team members who were really ready to take my job, but I wasn't ready to give my job, to leave my job, but I helped them to find that role and job in another organization. And I still am in contact with them and follow them around where they are moving towards. And with one of them, I lately had I did an assignment in her department, and we worked together again. So I think that is what true leadership and talent management entails, to create those long-lasting relationships.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously coming on to the sort of last part of the question as well, because it's something that I am very much involved in, but also very passionate about, is obviously we've talked about, cultivating that sort of talent going forward within the business. How do we grow it, and how do we continually develop it? But how as an industry are we doing, and what can we be doing better to actually drive talent into it? Because notoriously, we've not been great, and the areas that we have been better at driving talent into it has been actually away from the commercial element and more down the operational route, or more down the front of house route, which is the unfortunate truth. Whereas I'm very much focused, as you know, on the more commercial element. So I suppose, what do we need to do as businesses in hospitality to actually get that talent coming in?
I think one important thing that we can do there is we have something a little bit like the Battleship Grey image, so to say. We are not really well known for being at the front line of changes, of innovation. So that's something that we need to brag about a little bit more. It's not really an attractive industry as the image is that it are low paying jobs, it entry level. We all have those very nice how do you say it, vacancies where it says we offer a market conform salary or a competitive salary, so to say, okay, we pay you all the same. Not really helpful if you want to stand out, and if you want to attract a different type of people, you also maybe should do a little bit different on that side. So we need to be better advocates, I think, in general, on how on what we bring to what our business brings towards that talent, and what they can learn, and especially in these times, young people, they want to feel connected. They want to be part of a group. They want to be part of a community. And we have that community. We are quite special because we are the ones that are making the lives of everybody in hotels better, easier. People, we are taking care of people. We make sure that they have a great time. And that's where we really connect and bond with people. We make friends on a daily basis. I just wrote it in one of my modules. Who can say that creating friends is part of your job? Yeah. I wouldn't call it a job anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we can better advocates in. Okay, what is it? What does it make unique to work in a hospitality industry rather than going into all those fancy marketing, growth hacking, all kinds of great advertisement jobs?
Yeah.
But how do we put ourselves in the market?
No, completely. I think as well, there's something that was very apparent to me a couple of years ago, was the building of awareness. So going to these institutes, universities, and telling, really getting involved with the students, getting them to understand all the different paths. Because the other thing I'd say as well is, with your statement about where else can you build friendships within obviously your workplace, right? But I've also sort of looked at it as, where else can you get exposure to pretty much every industry there is within one environment? So if you think about a single property, you've got front of house, you've got sort of front desk, you've got reservations, then you've got revenue, you've got finance, you've got marketing, you've got sales, you've got management, all these different things. You've got obviously the culinary side, so obviously chefs and so on, and restaurant staff. It's one of these things where it's like a powerhouse of education. And it's very difficult if there is another environment out there that can roll all that stuff into one place. I'd like to see it. But I think raising that awareness and getting our hospitality leaders in front of these students and building that awareness, I think is so important. And it's something that changed the way that I did things when I was approaching the student element. Is I actually took a panel of people with me to a careers day, and we had a panel discussion. It was all around revenue management, but also wider commercial. And at the end of that panel, we found out that it was the most popular panel discussion there was on that careers day. They had to actually bring chairs from other rooms in because people wanted to get into it, which I found fantastic. And at the end of it, there's a bit of a joke because there's a couple of gentlemen that I know very well and have become very good friends with who were sitting on the panel. And they said it felt like a bit of a Braveheart moment where I should have had blue paint across my face at the end of it, because I did this sort of long speech at the end where there should have been sort of a tear coming down my eye saying, you need to join us in this industry. And there was a bit of a running joke for a while. But I am just so passionate about that, about getting that talent in, because we're losing so many great people to other industries. And now, unfortunately, more than ever, due to the pandemic, that's happening. And I think sort of going forward, we need to already start thinking about how we're going to drive talent in, because we've already lost enough of it. We need to almost step on the gas. And obviously, we've got enough on our plate at the moment, but that's certainly a focus that I think needs to be on all hoteliers' minds right now, is how we're going to continue to drive that talent into our industry, because it's fantastic. It's a fantastic industry to be in.
Yeah, and to tap into what you said, it's so relevant what you're saying, that the younger people, they don't want to be in one place for too long or in one role for too long. They are eager to learn more in a wider scale of things. So I've done a little bit of reservations, I've done a little bit of front office, and now I want to move to sales.
Yeah.
For one reason, is always marketing, sales, always the one that.
Something tells me you're a little bit biased here.
No. I like sales. I love them, and I can do it. And I love to do sales. But it's that thing that in our industry people are able to. Where in other industries, if you choose one path, you cannot move around because you are the expert and you are only being trained and being developed on that one level. And that's the uniqueness of the industry, is that we do the cross trainings and we do train people in different roles, and we do give them the opportunity to move towards a different role. Yeah. Even if you don't have the sales experience, but if you have the front office experience and you can tell from your own experience what a guest can expect, what better sales can you do? So everybody is a salesperson, I always say. So that's why I made a joke a little bit about it. But yeah, I think that we need to better explain these kind of opportunities to the people who are getting into studying, into choosing their studies. So you need to be quite early already, where we now maybe start when they are looking for their first internship. So they have already chosen for our industry because they are already doing hotel school and they are already doing chosen the industry. Yeah. And another opportunity, what just pops into my mind, is to also take trainees not only from the hotel school. Mm-hmm. Take a trainee from a different with a different background or with a different study. Yes. In certain roles, it's quite easily to transform. I took people on board that were being trained as a hostess or a stewardess, or I've took people on board that were doing, marketing, really focused on marketing studies. Yeah. And they not help me in reservations/marketing. Mm-hmm. And that's also something that to think about, is to combine certain roles. We have such a strong handshake between certain departments, where it's easily to combine the traineeships to make it more interesting, more lively, more vibrant, and not stuck in that how we always done it before.
No, I agree. There's certainly transferable skills there, but also it's open for, I suppose, movement because they are quite junior already. They're just finding their feet in different environments. So then is the time to really start trying to find out where they'd be most sort of passionate in, whether that be revenue or whether that be reservations or marketing or whatever it might be. It's just about identifying that. And as we said, actually, it actually comes back to obviously what we were discussing before. It's just about knowing your employee, understanding where they want to go, what they want to do, and then helping them get there through obviously management and so on, but allowing them to steer their own ship, if you like, allowing them to take that journey. But yeah, this is what I mean. We're on the same page. There's just so much that needs to be done. But at least obviously we've got people like yourself that are out there trying to help businesses do this. And I suppose that brings me on to my last question, which is what are you guys doing at the moment? What's going on with you guys? And is there anything that obviously you'd love to tell us about?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We talked a little bit about it earlier on. I'm so thankful and grateful for all the hard work that we have put into your queue for the last 18 months, so to say. Yeah. What I have created together with some experts from the industry and some developers on the technical side as well, is a training platform where we create a one-stop shop for trainings. Right. I have written the first module, which is covering about 14 weeks of training, and that is the guest journey. It's taking the employees, supervisors, trainees, and managers along the journey of the guests and how they are contributing to the guest satisfaction and the business results.
Sure.
So that's one part. That's the main part of the platform. Besides that, we also offer a library where people can have more general TED Talks, book covers, where there are podcasts that are promoted there. So it's a little bit more, what they want to learn or what they like to hear about. It's a little bit the social media channels that are interesting to follow, the fun ones like RevPAR problems and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And at last, we have also in-company trainings. So the offline side of trainings, which is very important because I do not believe in watching a video and then you've learned something. It should be a combination of the theory and the videos compared with experiential learning, and also the in-company training, so to say, or the offline trainings are an important part of developing and growing. So I select, together with a few people, we select the in-company training, so really industry-related trainers. And then we offer as well those type of training. So that could vary from a necessary fire, life and safety training to a full-on personal development training. And people can register over there. The manager or the HR manager gets a signal, hey, this person is interested in learning and wants to do this training. And then they can see if it fits in the budget or if it's available for them. And then they can just go into the system and request for an offer or plan and be in touch with the trainers. So those are the three elements in the training system, and it's all supported in a full LMS system, so learning management system, where you can see the progress, where you can see your own progress, and where you can do some fun stuff as well, and just have a peek around.
Fantastic. I mean, what I'll do, I'll drop a link below, just to obviously take them to your queue, and then obviously they can obviously explore it for themselves if anybody is interested. So anybody that's obviously watching this episode at this stage, click on the link below, the Your Queue link below. It'll take you to obviously the relevant page, but you'll also be able to take a look at the different online, obviously, development courses that are on there. And I know for a fact that Daphne would love to obviously connect with anybody that is interested in taking these up. So yeah, please do take a look at that. So Daphne, I'll make sure that there's a link below for that. And of course, I suppose congratulations on everything that's going on with Your Queue. From obviously what I've seen, I've obviously gone on there myself with you. It looks fantastic. It's intuitive, and it's also something that is really easy to follow, which is, I think, so important. So no, congratulations on everything you've achieved.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the last thing that I wanted to say. It's really focused on not giving every type of information and go have a search for yourself. No, it's really, we are doing the search already for you. So it really takes the time and effort away to go into learning, and it saves time for HR, it saves time for the employees, because we give them already a limited or the best, so to say, a range of things. So that's really the difference with more the general learning platforms that are out there.
No, definitely. And again, when you obviously showing me that really did come across. It is very easy to follow. It's very easy to sort of understand and get to grips with it quite quickly, which again for online learning is massively important, because unfortunately these days, people's attention span, as soon as it becomes too difficult or it becomes cumbersome, it's sort of, well, okay, and I think that's so important. So again, I think it's a brilliant product. And for anybody that is interested, please do click on the link below, and it'll take you to it. Daphne, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you've been, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. And guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode. And don't forget to see who's on next week's episode now.